The Mona Lisa is undoubtedly the most recognized artwork worldwide. She has gone through many things: military invasions, robberies, emperors, and others. Things that we already talked about earlier in this channel in our video of why is the Mona Lisa, better known as the Gioconda, so important. And being valued at $750 million and at the same time being the most visited painting annually, it wouldn't be surprising if someone, let's say, wanted to take away the most famous work of Leonardo da Vinci. My name is Rafael Peraza and this is What If the Mona Lisa Were Stolen? Our story begins in the not-too-distant future. It is the year 2050 and the public interest in the Mona Lisa is weaker and weaker. It is still considered the most recognized painting worldwide, but the society of that time is just simply not so interested in classical art. Fewer and fewer people visit the museum. Young people don't see the meaning of its importance. They prefer to do different things while being in Paris than going to an old museum, which in itself millions already think it is a waste of public resources. And this is why the managers of the Louvre start to think about how to make people become interested in the beautiful painting again. How to make the Mona Lisa great again. Before we continue, remember that the intention of this video is just to entertain, and for more context of the story of the Mona Lisa, I invite you to see our video about its importance and history. You can do that by clicking the eye that appears in the upper right corner of your screen. In the past, the Mona Lisa had made several tours around the world, so that millions could appreciate it without having to go to France. In one of these, President Kennedy went to see the painting and said that he had never seen such a painting, whose simplicity gave the viewer the possibility of interpreting it as he or she would like. These tours increased the popularity of the painting in the past, so it is planned not only a world tour, but the art piece will be shown for 6 months in 2 different museums each year: Moscow, London, New York, Los Angeles, Rio de Janeiro, Beijing, Tokyo, Rome, Johannesburg, Alexandria. All these cities and more will have the privilege of showing the great Gioconda with the permission and security provided by the Louvre. The news went viral. Immediately the popularity of the painting went up. And although in France the public opinion repudiated the idea of not seeing the masterpiece again for many years, now it could be a painting that people of the rest of the world could be able to appreciate it too as well. Governments all over the world fought to have the Mona Lisa as a guest in their cities, just as they do with the World Cup and the Olympics, knowing the economic impact that this will bring to any city that houses it, and after much diplomatic discussion, it was St. Petersburg, the most cultural city in Russia, the one that earned the privilege to be able to show the Mona Lisa away from France. The Hermitage Museum will be where the great artwork will rest, one of the largest and most important museums in the world, but after a lot of planning and when the Mona Lisa had already secretly landed in St. Petersburg and was being transferred with its full custody to the Hermitage Museum, the security team that was protecting her lost communication and they were assaulted. There were no victims. The thieves only used non-lethal weapons, that is, tasers, rubber bullets, gas, stun grenades, and others. It was a totally clean job. This was a total disaster. The people in France were furious. The Russian government did not understand what just happened. Nobody knows how it was possible for a group of well-prepared insurgents to know where the security convoy was going to pass. And even though the journey between the airport of St. Petersburg and the museum was a bit distant, it was outrageous that the robbery could be carried out. But either way, it happened. The Gioconda was gone. A week had passed and there was no news of the thieves or anything related to the case. Russian and French investigators, police forces, and other groups had no idea what happened. The only explanation was that someone with a lot of power in the Louvre or the Russian police had been the one to reveal the necessary information to carry out the robbery. And although there were already some suspects, there was nothing concrete. And this is because the thieves knew everything: where they were going to be, at what time they were going to be, how many guards there were, their position, the security code of the painting, in which part of the frame was the tracker, absolutely everything. And while all the planet was talking about this case, suddenly a video of the thieves was made public. They were with the painting and they were giving data that only the security of the Louvre and the Russian police knew. The perpetrators of the theft were French. They called themselves, and by the way, forgive my bad French, les liberateurs de la belle époque, the liberators of the beautiful era. The The beautiful era referring to the historical artistic period in which the Mona Lisa was stolen for the first time by Vincenzo Perugia. If you want more information about that, you know where to find it. These men were very well trained and at the same time they were great art connoisseurs. They used names among themselves of artists of the beautiful era, such as Otto Wagner, Antoni Gaudí, Émile Gallé, Jules Lavorite, and many others. They justified the theft of the Mona Lisa, saying that it was outrageous for one of the most representative images of France to leave the country for years, with the bad excuse that ignorant, disinterested people would have the chance to know it since it was fashionable again, that only someone willing to travel to France or a lover of French art should have the privilege of seeing it, and that's why they will show the work from time to time in clandestine galleries and historical centers throughout France. And although they will not give clues, their love for art will give some ideas of where to find the next showing of the art piece. The liberators of the beautiful era were very audacious. They appear in historical places for a few minutes, they show the work and disappear seconds before the police appear, and they always knew where the agents who were looking for the painting were going to be. They had eyes and ears inside the system. The whole world looked impressed as the intelligence and the liveliness of this man and woman tricked the police. Thousands of tourists traveled to France only for the hope of suddenly sighting the Mona Lisa and their thieves. This was total madness. Groups of people in disguise and with copies of the Mona Lisa were acting as the original thieves to cover them, so that would make everything harder in order to find them. All over Europe, this became something of a game or challenge, and nobody knew anything. Many governments made these false actions of disguising like the thieves illegal, but this didn't prevent the liberators from being followed by many. Carrying out the investigation, and after months of playing cat and mouse, the authors of the robbery began to feel untouchable, so much so that they were entrusted and present the art piece again, but this time at the Louvre. That was like a slap in the face for the police, the maximum lack of respect. They even have the balls to place it on the original pedestal, but apparently the person who passed the information had told them that the security in the Louvre was now almost inexistent, since all resources were destined to the search of the painting, but this was a lie. They managed to put the Mona Lisa on its pedestal, but they couldn't take her out again. The police immediately arrived to the hall, and although the liberators were able to escape, they have to leave behind their grand prize, and so the Gioconda returned to the hands of its original protectors. Although the police never managed to capture the liberators of the beautiful era, at least the Mona Lisa was safe again. People were happy and visits of the museum tripled. For security reasons, the international tours were cancelled, and many began to speculate that they would never take place again, that the Louvre and the French government did not want to risk her again. In the end, it was a happy ending for the Louvre. Almost too happy, right? The popularity of the Mona Lisa was now bigger than ever since her recent story seemed to be taken from an action movie and without the need to have to move the painting from city to city. During the robbery, there were no deaths. No one ever knew who was the contact of the group that had passed the information and then betrayed them. Nobody heard anything about this insurgent group before the robbery, and also did not hear from them after they lost the Mona Lisa. Tourism in France from people hoping to see a Mona Lisa went up in an absurd amount, and these tourists now visit new areas that were previously little known. Documentaries, shows, books were written, people went back to like classical art. Everything was perfect. So much perfect that now many thought that everything had been planned by the same Louvre and the French government, a master plan to be relevant again, that they created the liberators of the beautiful era, that the government were the ones that passed the information to the thieves, that they sent the police to the wrong places, and that's why they could escape. And all this speculation is because if a robbery made it the greatest artwork in the past, another one will immortalize it for many more years. A little too crazy, right? So crazy that it could be real. But hey, I don't know, you tell me. What do you think? Do you think the French government would have planned everything? Or that it was an authentic robbery and that they just got lucky? Tell me at the comments below and let the respectful discussions begin. If you like this type of video in particular, subscribe now. I will talk about alternate realities, history, the future of technology, and many other things. If you have already subscribed and you want to help the channel grow, you could also help me on Patreon. Remember to hit the like button, share the video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day and thanks for watching.